education should be given to the children between 6 to 14. Coming to the viewpoint of Alvin Toffler, everybody in the present century knows very well A, B, C, 1, 2, foundational literacy and other things. But in the present century, emphasis should be on learning, unlearning, and relearning. No doubt, as my co-panelist Dr. Govind Kumar was saying that there was other policies, there were other reports, of course there were, but we have to unlearn. We have to unlearn the traditional or obsolete concepts, and at the same time we should have the spirit of relearning. One, there are some situations by which we may experience, we see, we visualize that there is a head of the institution, there is a boss, there is an academic leader who says, no, this is a precedent, it is a legacy, it is there, we cannot alter, we cannot change, but we have to change this mindset while formulating any policy, any document, any report. Dr. APJ Kalam says, a leader is the one, when it comes to standard setting, when it comes to accreditation, the major role lies it does not lie in the hands of, it is not there in the hands of a common people. It is not in the hands of, yes, we involve stakeholders, but absolute authority does not lie at the grassroots level. It is the academic leader, it is the academic manager who has to play an increasingly active role while formulating the necessary benchmarks for standard setting and accreditation. For that purpose, Kalam says that a leader is the one who knows the way. A real leader should be the person who should have the understanding of the entire system, the way, and at the same time, I am not in a position to deliver. I am not in a position to apply. So I cannot be a good leader. I cannot formulate things effectively. Dr. Kalam says a leader is the one who knows the way, who shows the way, and who is creative, who gives the way. We are in a fix. We have to formulate the standards. We have to formulate the mechanism for accreditation. We have to formulate the guidelines for making our system of education more effective, more purposeful, more productive. But at the same time, as leaders, we must be very creative. And MC Chawla, the then Union Education Minister, says that we have to impart real education to our learners. So when it comes to standard setting, when it comes to accreditation, we have to ensure, we have to keep in mind that our benchmarks must be such so that we may say, we may realize that yes, we are successful in imparting real education to our learners. For this purpose, I am in agreement with the viewpoint of my colleague Nazir Saab, who in his presentation says that SSA has formulated certain benchmarks like safety, security, infrastructure, teacher-people ratio, financial probability, governance, etc. But all these are not sufficient. All these things, only these things cannot work in order to impart the real education, quality education to our learners. You see, when we say quality education, when we say real education, it revolves around three pillars. One, the teacher, which forms the nucleus of this process. Another is teaching process, which goes inside the classroom. And the third is teaching learning situation, which demands the infrastructure. When it comes to teacher, there is no denying in the fact our teachers are very versatile. Unfortunately, because of the war or the other reasons, we fail to maintain the dignity of the teachers working in our educational enterprises these days. There were a time during Vedic period, during ancient period, during medieval period, when teachers were respected as next to king. In Vedic period, we have examples where society used to give land and domains to teachers. So far, the present system is concerned, you see, and there is no denying in the fact, our teachers in our schools single-handedly are managing the affairs of meeting. There is no plan, there is no helper. This is a teacher. He is herself working as a peon, going to the ration depot and getting ration there, going to the gas person, getting gas there, going to the food vendor and getting, vegetables there, getting other things there for making these meals ready for the students. This is how teachers are working in government sector. But at the same time, when we say accountability, we fix this accountability rod to teachers only. We are not fixing this accountability to the system, to the situation. When the entire situation is not conducive, how you can say, how we can expect that teacher can deliver best? He can realize his best. Yes, there are instances where we realize that teachers are not delivering their best, but those instances are rare. So when we say real education, when we say standard setting, real education, when we say accreditation, there is a big challenge in the UT of Jammu and Kashmir. You see that Parepura, that has become a hub of moral waywardness. You see, in a single classroom, there are 200 to 300 students. How those private coaching institutions are managing all these academic affairs, and they are saying that we are providing quality education to our learners. So responsibility lies on the shoulders of academic leaders, that we may formulate the policies for standard setting and accreditation in such a way that our schools, our senior secondary schools may become attractive for the stakeholders, for the academia. Dr. Iqbal says, I would like to quote Dr. Iqbal, who beautifully says that हुई न जाग में पैदा बुलंद परवाजी खराब कर गई शाहीन बच्चे को सोहबते जाग हया नहीं है जमाने की आंख में बाकी खुदा करे तेरी जवानी रहे बेदाग. You see, in the present academia, we witness day by day a number of instances which have a nature of moral crisis in our schools. We witness these days in our schools. There was a time when we used to share knowledge, when we used to share values, when we used to share ethics, when we used to share ethical standards with each other. But today in our schools, unfortunately, and this is an eye-opener, this is a challenge for we people, for academic leaders, we witness our students do share pills, they share cigars, and we witness these days time has reached now. Drug addiction, it has reached to a very significant level. Not only this, now the more alarming trend is that suicidal tendency is increasing day by day. And the suicidal tendency we witness not among the common masses, not among the adults, but we see this tendency among adolescents. So where are we? Where do we stand? We have to come up. We have to frame a policy in such a way, and our academic institutions, they have become these days academic cafeterias. Instead of serving the society, those institutions are served by common masses, by poor people. There is corporatization of education. Time has reached now. Thanks goes to the Kasturi Rangan, the government of India. It is the right time when they came up with this.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, please be brief and sum up in next 2 minutes.
Please give him 5 minutes, please. This is an important concept. We are discussing on setting standards. We are discussing how we can recognize the private institutions.
Sir, please, sir, this is my request. Sir, this is my request to you. Please, just sum up in next 2 minutes, as our chairperson is waiting so long.
Okay. So there is a need that we may formulate the guidelines in such a way that we may ensure that we are in a position to impart real education among the students. One. Second, so far this policy is considered new education policy 2020. It says that enough much emphasis has been laid on vocationalization of secondary education. Policy says that at least there 50% of the enrolled students should have exposure to vocational education. When we say that vocational education, naturally there must be linkages. I would like to add only 2 things and I will conclude. One, linkages. Another is institutional ranking. For institutional ranking, I believe that when before abrogation of Article 370, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to the chairperson, J.K. Bose, Professor Veena Pandita ji. State government has the provision to formulate its own educational policy, and she being very responsive, she has organized, I believe, 4 to 6 number of academic deliberations. I was also a part of that group. We went to Jammu, we went to Kashmir here, and we were forming a document, and our aim was to make this document relevant to our students. Similarly, when we are formulating the benchmarks for standard setting and accreditation, I would like, through this medium, I would like to request Professor Veena Pandita ji, who is the director of the SCRT, that she may, in the same lines, she should organize physically in the offline mode. She should invite the renowned academicians to the office of the SCRT, and there we may fix the necessary guidelines, the necessary benchmarks for standard setting and accreditation, by which we shall be in a position to impart real education to our students. One. Second, in our schools, we should have a provision of linkages. When we say vocational education, at the same time, there's a need to give an entrepreneurship exposure to our students. You see, today our students are, and our parents are emphasizing, no, doctor is the only choice, engineer is the only choice, and they are in academic cocoon. It is our responsibility to put students, our parents, out of this cocoon. So we can put them out of this cocoon when we may establish a linkage between the industry and the education. Thank you all. This is my presentation.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot for explaining today's topic with certain real experiences and shared with us, and stressed upon the SCRT to hold the meetings and to have the committee to so that we'll have the accreditation system in a real sense. Thanks a lot, sir. Now we are very fortunate enough that we are having with us a renowned and eminent personality, that is Professor Indrani Bahaduri, who is the head of the Education Survey Division, NCRT, New Delhi. Recently, she has been appointed by Ministry of Education as a member of the committee to prepare the framework of National Mission on Foundation and Literacy and Numeracy. That is the topic of the time. Professor Indrani ma'am, I welcome you here. And now it's my request to throw light on today's topic. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Naseem. At the onset, I would like to express my grateful thanks to Director SCRT, Jammu and Kashmir, and Chairperson J.K. Bose. I would like to congratulate all the officers of J.K. Bose and the Central University of Kashmir and Central University of Jammu, and also all the DIET principals present in this meeting. Both the presentation by the Jammu branch as well as the Kashmir team had been excellent. I guess the Jammu team, they started with, what is the difference between standard setting and accreditation, defining both the terms explicitly, and then went on to explain the given the NEPs, what are the parameters as per standard setting in NEP. The Kashmir team brought into the comparison the present policy and what had been before to understand the gaps. The panelists, Professor Govind Kumar and Dr. Firdaus Ahmed, I think Professor Govind Kumar elaborated very well the standard required for participation, the decentralization process, and also emphasized on the commercialization and exploitation of the private sector, whereas Dr. Firdaus brought out the crux in dissemination of policy. And another very important point brought out by him is the moral crisis that is existing in today's society. As per my views on the standard setting and accreditation in school education, I would like to, request the House. We need to see what is there available at the national level, which tells us what the present situation is. So if we want to see that, I think two important documents are there which are available to us, and both are available in the public domain. One is the National Achievement Survey, which I think most of you are aware of 2017 and 18, which is the latest. And it gives the learning outcomes available, and also it talks about the students' perceptions about coming to schools, the difficulty faced in traveling to schools, and also makes us understand what the teacher sees in the class, students, what are the difficulties facing. The teacher's response to a few aspects of schools and schooling, such as infrastructure, availability of learning material, classroom assessment practices, and parental involvement, etc. And these reports are given, state-wise and district-wise. So it is a very good starting point to understand what is happening in my state, in my district. The NAS, DRC, and the CRCs are the, they also provide the proficiency explained, the benchmarking that is done of the students' learning, that also is available by the National Achievement Survey. So given this, the goal of school education, NEP 2020 says, is that is to continually improve the educational outcome. So standard setting and accreditation are regulatory mechanism. This should not be at the cost of innovation and demoralizing the teachers, principals, and students. It is there to empower each and every cog in the wheel. So this has been, I think, time and again pointed out by the participants as well as the panelists. We need to understand that system, to make everyone who is a part of the system, we need to see that everybody present in the system realizes that uh, what is the why do we need this standard setting, so that we understand what is excellence and what is it that we need to strive for. An integral part of this is the transparency. I think transparency is very crucial, and transparency brings in a faith to the system, which is of essence for growth. This point has also been very well brought out during the presentations. To transform and strengthen the education system, यानी कि जब मैं एक education system को स्वस्थ और ऊर्जाश्री बनाना चाहती हूँ, तो the states needs to be, set up an independent state-wide body, State School Standards Authority, which will set the standards for this triple SA, which has also been quoted, which will set standards for safety, security, infrastructure, and so on and so forth. Safety and security, these are the first two things, and which are, like precursors to learning. I, as a child, if I do not feel safe in the school, I, as a teacher, if I do not feel safe, I, as a guide faculty, if I, as a principal, I do not have my own safety and security, I will not be able to justice to my, to my role. So at each level, safety and security, I think that is the base on which we need to work. Since we, again, since we are launching the FLN, that is the Foundational Learning Mission, it becomes mandatory to, make like SSA to think about the enabling conditions. What are the enabling conditions for the foundational learning to happen? I think SSA needs to think about, and I will be really obliged if the SCRT organizes a special webinar on this foundational learning as well, because a lot of emphasis is given in the NEP about the foundational learning. Then, of course, how to use, how to support, the SDG 4.0. Because internationally, we have the national level, document, and we have the international documents as well. So we need to bring in a coherence between both of them. So we need to, existing structures needs to be revitalized, like the CRCs, DRCs, and the diets. And an important thing to consider in the standard setting and accreditation in school should be the alignment to the SDG. The education for realizing the SDG would support a critical and an engaged approach to learning. It is essential that the learners have access to education and evidenced information, not just information, but information based on facts, which is again of vital importance. SDG explicitly recognizes the need for education for sustainable development and a global citizenship. So, we know that approximately 42% of the world population is under 25-year-old. So, DFID, the Department for International Development, has, emphasized putting young people at the heart of the development. And we all know that India also chronologically, if we see, is a very young country. So age-wise, so we need to take into consideration what are the values, what are the skills that we need to give to our younger generation. Then learning to participate in an interconnected, complex, and diverse societies is no longer a luxury, but a pressing necessity. Recognizing the unique roles that schools play in preparing our youth to participate in our world, the Programs for International Student Assessment, PISA, has developed a framework to explain, foster, and assess adolescents' global competencies. The framework is designed as a tool for policy makers, leaders, and teachers interested in nurturing competencies among young people worldwide. So this we need to go through. So like I said that, we need to kind of see what are the evidences that we have collected at the national level. What are the evidence, like we have the NAS, we have the PGI. What are the evidences that we have at the, international level? Example, we have the SDGs, that what is it that we want to do, and we have also the learning. I think one of the participant panelists mentioned about the World Bank report. The latest report is the Learning Poverty Report by the World Bank, so 2019. So that all these documents, when we are talking about standard setting and accreditation, we need to look into all these documents before we build our own perspective, before we take any action in it. Thank you so much. It has been really a wonderful session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks a lot for your words and remarks. We are passionately waiting from since morning that we are going to listen from you, and also take your suggestion that we are going to conduct and organize a seminar on foundational learning, ma'am. Definitely in future we will have a webinar on the same, which you have stressed. Thanks a lot, ma'am. Thanks a lot, and thanks for accepting our invitation and being with us from today in our webinar. Thanks, ma'am. Moving ahead, now it's the time to listen from Sheikh Gulzar, and he is presenting the summary of today's proceedings. Sheikh Gulzar, can you hear me, sir?
Yes, thank you very much.
Sir, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So it was webinar number 8 conducted by Jammu Kashmir State Council of Education, Research and Training under the kind mentorship of Director Professor Veena Panditji. It began with the presentation of Team A led by Ms. Ashu Magotra, SCRT Jammu, on National Educational Policy 2020 Challenges, Opportunities vis-a-vis Jammu Kashmir. Our today's topic was standard setting and accreditation for school education vis-a-vis Jammu Kashmir. The team led by Rishi Nazir Ahmed, HOD Diet Sopo, carried forward the discussion. After the two presentations, we had a question answer session by the participants. Next, we had a panel discussion that was started by Dr. Govind Kumar Inakia, Faculty of Department of Public Policy and Public Administration, Central University of Jammu, and it was followed by Dr. Firdaus Ahmad Zafal, Assistant Professor, Department of Education, Central University of Kashmir. The discussion concluded with the illuminated and enlightening words message of Professor Indrani Bahadur, ESD and CERT, New Delhi. The eminent speakers, panelists, and the chairperson enlightened the participants about the standard setting and accreditation for school education envisaged in NEP 2020, the recommendations that were highlighted in Chapter 8 of the policy document, that we discussed here today were about to check ineffective management, conflict of interests, excessive centralized power, diluted efforts towards quality education by shifting roles, etc. So it's expected that there will be a paradigm shift to the empowering of schools and teachers. That's what the policy says, with trust, striving for excellence, integrity of the system, enforcement of complete transparency and full public disclosure of all finances, procedures, and educational outcomes. The recommendations presented highlighted by the participants and panelists are as separate regulatory and operational functions. States and UTs will the educational department of states and UTs will be tasked with policy formulation. The Directorate of School Education is responsible for running government schools. The CERT, State Council of Education Research and Training, is tasked with setting the academic standards of the states and UTs. State School Standard Authority, Triple SA, will be set up by each state UT. It will be mandated with regulatory public and private schools and monitor maintenance of minimum common standards. All schools are mandated to post extensive information on the Triple SA institutional website. There will be National Assessment Center, PARAC, that will go for a periodic health checkup of the overall system. It will be a sample based survey for onward progress. Academic standards curricula will be regulated by CERT, SCRT. The SCRT will develop a school quality assessment and accreditation framework, SQAAF. For the purpose, the DITES, BRCs, CRCs will be reinvigorated to change the capacity and work culture of these institutions. There will be a rigorous assessment of performance. The assessment system will be objective in nature and will take care of holistic development of learners. The promotions of different individuals in the department, their recognition, and accountability of all the individuals in the department will be based on performance assessment now. Both public and private schools will come under the ambit of assessment by SSA, and all regulatory information should be on school and SSA website. So the challenges then to all this presented by the eminent groups from Jammu and Kashmir are as the lack of technology and internet facilities in schools, the basic necessities in place in schools. Question marks to how SSA will work in far-flung areas and how the technocrats who will look and maintain those websites. So bridging the gap between public and private schools, multiple system checks and balance, a confusion, no basic standards of safety, security, etc. in place, sanitation, transportation, bordering walls around schools. ASA report was put in favor of all these things. So from Kashmir, it was said that techno-savvies need to be there to create websites and maintain them. And another important point was raised that most of the DITES are headless. There are no HODs, principals, revamping this, renovating of CRCs, BRCs. Then coming to Dr. Govind Kumar Inakia sir, he referred to last two policies, said that they were access and equity. Then coming down to accreditation, why it is necessary, he said that to stop commercialization. And then he talked about sustainable development goals for the aspirational India. So he raised questions about the village education committees. And then coming to Dr. Firdaus Saab, who raised very, very important questions about, he mentioned that we should be flexible to learn, unlearn, and relearn. He said that the entire system needs to be regulated, especially he made a reference of private coaching centers across Jammu Kashmir and said that they should come under the ambit of regulation, governance, and accreditation by the government. He mentioned the drug addiction, suicidal tendencies in children, and said that they should be regulated. They should be regulated. And then coming to MAM, our chairperson of the day, Indrani NCRT New Delhi, she talked about uh, NAS 2017-18 and said that this should be the base where from we need to understand what is happening in our state. She talked about excellence, transparency. She mentioned that how SSA is going to look at safety, security, and infrastructure. She said that a webinar should be conducted on foundational learning. I think that has already been conducted by JKSCRT, and it will be great if it is done again. And she stressed on sustainable development goals. She talked about values, skills, learning to participate as a pressing need of the hour. She mentioned PESA. And with this, if I am allowed, I would like to conclude this with my 3 lines. It all ends up with this: in education, things will differently. Things work differently. This is not a hospitality sector. This is not engineering. We are not making bridges. We are changing the lives of students. The moment we have every teacher setting standard for themselves, the time we have every school setting standards for themselves, that is how change happens. Somebody coming from outside telling me how to teach mathematics to my classroom, to my students, never worked in the best options anywhere in the world. Most of the top institutes of the world are self-regulated. They define their own quality standards. They define excellence, what they want to achieve, and they pursue excellence. And I think that is the role each one of us need to understand, that whatever the policy is trying to do to bridge the gaps between public and private schools does not matter, as far as every teacher of our schools aiming for excellence, aiming for best delivery education. And if we have that in mind, we don't have to worry about the chapter 8 of the NEP 2020. We will be very, very happy, and we will move ahead in a very nice manner. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much, sir, for presenting the summary of the today's proceedings. I share with my participants that I apologize today because we are skipped the question answer session after the remarks from the chairperson, as we are having the short of time. Now, I would like to request Deepak Sharma from Jammu to present vote of thanks. Deepak, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Nazin. Am I audible?
Sir, go ahead.
Hello.
You are audible.
Yeah. So I am privileged and honored to present vote of thanks on behalf of JNK SCRT.
Excuse me, sir, if you remove the mask for some time.
Okay. Thank you. So I am privileged and honored to present vote of thanks on behalf of JNK SCERT. NEP 2020 envisions an education system that aims at transforming India, and standard setting and accreditation of schools as a component of NEP is one of the key initiatives in attaining education outcomes and transforming India. Well, my heartiest gratitude to Professor Indrani Bahaduri ma'am from Education Survey Division of NCERT. In fact, my heartiest gratitude and thanks as she requested our request to grace this occasion as chairperson of the webinar. In fact, we are privileged and honored enough that we from JNK, myself and Kuldeep from SCRT Jammu Division and Ghulam Hassan Rishi from SCRT Kashmir Division have been associated with Indrani ma'am in holding of this National Achievement Survey 2017. And let me tell you one thing, that she is an authority on the subject. She is doyen of the assessment service, and she is national resource person in NCRT, and she had worked in close liaison with all the SCRTs throughout the country and with MHRD, and she led from the front, and so that we could work in unison and in tandem with each other, and we could deliver the system, and we could hold that NAS 2017 in an efficient manner because of Indrani ma'am. And we are still privileged that we are still associated with her as associate state coordinators, and we are looking forward to work in unison and taking guidance from Indrani ma'am. And she will be sort of hand holding the SCRTs, especially SCRT JNK, which is an infancy stage. Earlier it was, SI Jammu and SI Kashmir, and recently we have got this SCRT JNK. So thank you, ma'am. Thanks for attracting our guest and gracing this question throughout the webinar. Now, a big thanks to Professor Veena Pandita, Director SCRT, who has taken this initiative and lead in holding these sessions on webinar on all the 8 components of NEP, and this was 8th in the continuation. And we are thankful to all the NCRT faculties who have been gracious enough to participate here in all the webinars as chairpersons. Now, may I also take this opportunity to thank the faculty from this Central University of Jammu and Central University of Kashmir. So as we have Dr. Govind Inakia and Firdaus sir from University of Kashmir, thanks for your valuable comments and suggestions, sir. In fact, we are also indebted to Central University of Jammu as well as Central University of Kashmir and University of Jammu and University of Kashmir for providing their continued support and guidance in these webinars. This would not have been possible to hold these webinars without their support and guidance and patronage. Now, I also take this opportunity to thank joint directors of SCRTs. We have here Shokat Mahmood sir and Abid sir, then faculty of SCRT from both Jammu as well as Kashmir division. And I also like to thank principal diets of all the diets of Jammu and Kashmir Uni and their faculties and all other participants who have participated. And a big congratulations and thanks to both the teams, Team A as well as Team B, comprising Shri Pradeep Singh ji, Vidhi Sharma, Nahida Anjum, Pooja Sharma, Rajkumar Sharma, Ashu Mangotra, Arvinder Verma, and Team B, comprising Nazir Ahmed, Rishi HOD, and then Dr. Parvez. Then we have Tariq Ahmed, Sajad Ahmed, Ji Sayyad Sayyid ji, and then we have Muhammad Khadim ji. And so, in fact, beautifully, and comprehensively explained by Ashu Mangotra ji from SCRT Jammu division and Nazir Ahmed Rishi from Kashmir division, and comprehensively, and they did a thread with discussion on that and could clear the doubts, from the participants throughout the session. And now, I would also like to thank the technical team comprising Ghulam Hassan Rishi, Hilal Sultan, Akash Khujuria, and others for providing us the technical support throughout the 8 webinars. Without them, this could not have been made possible. Then I also take this opportunity to thank Sheikh Gulzar sir, who provided us, conducted this, presented with the summary of proceedings of the webinar, and Dr. Nazneen for anchoring the show and for conducting the proceedings of this webinar in a beautiful manner. I also thank all those invisible hands who made this show possible. In fact, all the faculty members, I won't be able to name all, but there were too many members involved in this, conduct of webinars, right from SCRT Jammu division as well as Kashmir. As from BOS, we have our faculty members from BOS, Mr. Suresh Goria, we have Ranjit Manhas, we have Anuradha Sharma, we have Dr. Yasir, we have Dr. Arif, and so many others. I may not be able to name all the, but each and every member of our, SCRT and diets, they have been, there to share their inputs and insights, and so that we could hold this function. So I would thanks all those who were involved in this, webinars. Ma'am, I'll let you share one thing, that since after this landmark decision came that SCRT JNK having constituted out of 2 SIEs. This was our first big show, and with the actual guidance and support from our dynamic director SCRT, we could conduct these webinars, and we could take a lead, and we basically just try to come on the national stage, and we'll be contributing a lot, and we'll continue to come to the expectations of our officers from SCRT as well as NCRT and Ministry of Education. Thank you, man. Thanks all. Once again, in the end, ma'am, thanks for coming and joining us as chairperson. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Deepak ji. Thank you.
Thank you, madam. Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Thank you
All the-
so much, SCRT. It is really wonderful working with you, and the work that you're doing is fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks,
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks, ma'am.